experience it with it. I use digital textbooks. I use knowledge checks. I use homework. If the learning objectives are on the syllabi, I try and help students connect what they already know about the topic as we're going into it. During class, we have our subsequent exposure, experience, and practice. This is where we have collaboration, case studies, group work, presentations, Socratic discussions between the students and myself, that peer-to-peer learning and peer-to-instructor learning. And then after class, my dream is that we prolong the engagement with the context, that they don't just leave class and say, good, that class is done, but that they continue the discussion and continue to thinking about what they're doing. These are the discussion board questions we ask, the interactive labs, my office hours that I hope they're coming to see me in, the immediate feedback that we give them on what they're learning and not learning, so that they understand where they are on that mastery scale. And how do we learn to do all of this as educators? Because the truth is, most of us are content experts. We're accountants, we're IT people, we are communicators, we are teachers. How do we learn how to do all of this in the classroom? Well, this is how I learned. This is my huge stack of books right here that you can probably see. All the ones that I put there, I have, my foundational book, Classroom Assessment Techniques. If you have this book, put it in the chat. One of my favorite books ever. I refer to this on and on as I learn how to assess students in the moment and adjust. Here's another one of mine. I teach online classes as well, Flower. Just so you know, your book is one of my favorites. It's called Small Teaching Online. And it's one of my favorites because it gives us quick and practical tips about how to do the things, how to build community, how to evaluate if a technology is good to use or not, and so on. So we have all of these resources. But here's the thing. When AI came out, it has changed so much of what my students are doing and what I'm doing in the classroom. Here's some of my new books. I put them up there. And if you can see this, you can see that I have probably 100 Post-it notes in every one of my books as I'm marking pages and looking and saying, what can I do differently? How do I meet my students where they are? And how can it help save me time so that I can do the things that really matter to my students' learning? So just to make sure we're all on the same page, we're talking about generative AI. And I mean, we know AI has been around for a long time. AI has been around since the 1950s. That chessboard that you used to play with that would anticipate its moves and play against yourself, that is AI. But it really was not until the last few years that generative AI came about. And the difference in that is that it's easier to use and it put AI into the hands of the consumer. So when we think of AI, artificial intelligence, we typically